Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are again going to start on a very important topic, which is water pollution. It is a very important aspect in our life which we deal with. Today we are going to read some steps about it, and we will study that how to control water pollution and what is water pollution, all the questions that arises in your mind with this topic. Now let's get started with the introduction. Water is the most important resource for survival on a planet. It is the essence of life on our planet Earth. Yet, if you ever see a river or lake around your city, it would be evident to you that we are facing a very serious problem of water pollution. Let us educate ourselves about water and water pollution. Two-thirds of the Earth's surface is covered by water. 76 perfect of your body is made up of water. It is the most important resource without which we cannot survive on any planet. It is the essence of our planet. And if we see a river or a lake around our city, you can guess that we are facing a very serious problem with water pollution. You can see water polluted all around yourself. And only two-thirds of the Earth's surface is covered by water. That means 76% of water, and also 75 or 76% is there on the Earth's surface water, and in your body also 76% of water is present. Okay, so this was the introduction. Now let's move to water and water cycle. Before learning what is water pollution, let us read about water and water cycle. So, as you already know, water is everywhere and all around. However, we have a fixed amount of water on Earth. It just changes its states and goes through a cyclic order known as the water cycles. The water cycle is a natural process that is continuous in nature. It is the pattern in which the water from oceans, seas, lakes, etc. get evaporated and turns to vapor. After which it goes through the process of condensation and finally precipitation when it falls back to the earth as rain or snow. Water is everywhere and it is all around, and it is a fixed amount of water on our earth. We have a fixed amount of water on our earth. It changes, water can change its state, like it can convert to solid, it can convert to gas. That also it goes through a cyclic process. That we are named as water cycle. Okay, it is a natural process that is always continuously happening, and it is the pattern in which the water from oceans, seas and lakes. What happens, the water is evaporated from the oceans and seas and then turns in vapor, and it goes in the clouds, and it stores in the process of condensation in them, and finally precipitation occurs. Precipitation is nothing but it is as the rain or snow. Okay, now let us understand this process through this diagram. Okay, this is the water cycle diagram as you can see here. This is the groundwater, and here the water is there. The water is evaporating and then it is forming condensation. It is storing in the form of vapor in the which is known as the condensation process. Now here precipitation occurs, that means rain, and transportation occurs due to the process of sunlight. And then what happens, sublimation occurs. Then here surface flow is there, then here slow melt and forms a water line. Then here's again precipitation occurs and infiltration occurs. Like this the water process is going. Okay, so now let's move to the next topic, which is the very most important topic. What is water pollution? It is the very most important topic. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies like oceans, seas, lakes, rivers, aquifers, and groundwater, usually caused due to human activities. Water pollution is any change, minor or major, in the physical, chemical, or biological properties of water that eventually leads to detrimental consequence of living organisms. Drinking water or potable water is considered safe enough for human and animal consumption. Okay, So it is the contamination of water bodies. Contamination of water bodies means the water bodies and water degradations are getting affected by the uh, dirts that we are throwing it in the rivers or lakes. So you can see here oceans, seas, lakes, rivers, and groundwater are usually the examples, and it is caused by the human activities like we are throwing and dumping the garbage in it, right? So, chemical and biological properties of water eventually leads to detrimental consequence of living organisms. So, potable water is safe for drinking for organisms, okay, but you can see dirtiness and the waste we are throwing is polluting the water. So what is happening, it is polluting, and then we are using it, we are contaminating it, and then what happening, the person actually dies. So you can see poor people are not able to get the water, so they are drinking the river water which is polluted, and then they are catching up a disease very quickly, and it is also increasing bacterias which lead to death to the lives of people, okay. So now let's read the sources of pollution. So sources of water pollution. So number one is domestic waste, then industrial effluents, insecticides and pesticides, and detergent and fertilizers. So domestic waste, kind of you're throwing your vegetable peels and all. So your vegetable peels and all, and your industrial effluents. Effluents are basically nothing but they are the other name of chemicals that we are using. Then insecticides and pesticides, of course, that we are using to protect our plants. Then detergents and fertilizers, as they contain caustic soda and sodium chloride, so they are very harmful for our earth or for our water. Okay, so let's read here. Some of the water pollution are caused by direct sources, such as factories, and also some factories waste are also like the water is the flushing out from the factories and chemicals added in it. So it is also polluting the water. Then management facilities, refineries, etc. That directly releases water and dangerous byproducts into the nearest water source without treating them. So indirect sources include pollutants that infuse in the water bodies and groundwater, soil, and atmosphere through acidic rain. So then what is happening, the water is becoming acidic, it is becoming poisonous. So then what is happening, that water is going to evaporate and condensed it in the clouds in the form of acid. So then what happened, acid rain occurs, and it is very very dangerous for our life, so we need to stop that. Okay, so next is effects of pollution of water. So how the pollution of water occurs basically, so see what are the effects. So number one effect is the disease. So in humans, drinking or consuming polluted water in any way has many disastrous effects on our health. It causes typhoid, cholera, hepatitis, and various other diseases. So, as I told you, humans drinks or consume polluted water, so it gives a very dangerous effects on our health. It can cause typhoid. It can cause cholera, hepatitis. Hepatitis is a lungs disease, so that is happened by the contamination of bad food or drinking water. Okay. Okay, so the next is eradication of ecosystem. Now, eradication of ecosystem is also extremely dynamic and responds to even small changes in the environment. Increasing water pollution can cause an entire ecosystem or to collapse if it is unchecked. Okay, so now eutrophication. So eutrophication is also another aspect which it causes water pollutions. So chemicals accumulation and infusion in a water body encourages the growth of algae. So algae is basically a kind of fungi. Okay, it's green color fungi. So it's form a layer on the top of the pond or lake, and bacteria feed on this algae, and this event decreases amount of oxygen in the water body, so severely affecting the aquatic life there. So it is also affecting the aquatic life because it is decreasing the level of oxygen dissolved in the water. Okay, now next is effects of the food chain. So water pollution also affects on the food chain, like turmoil in food chain happens when the aquatic animals, fish, prawns, seahorse consume the toxins and pollutants in the water, and then the humans consume them. So it is also affecting humans too and the aquatic animals too. Okay, you can see in the picture, the you can see the picture. in this, water pollutants are resolved in it. Okay, so next is how to prevent water pollution. Now we have studied about water pollution and its effects and how it is caused. Now we will see how we can prevent it. Okay, so the best way to prevent large-scale water pollution is to try and reduce its harmful chemicals or effects. There are numerous small changes we can make to protect ourselves from a future when water is in secure. Okay, so let's see what are these effects. So number one is conserve water. We should always conserve water. So conserving water should be our first aim. So water wastage is a major problem globally, and we are only now waking up to this issue. So simple small changes made domestically will make a huge difference. So we should always conserve water. Okay. Now next is treatment of sewage. So treating waste products before disposing of it in water bodies helps reduce the pollution on a larger scale. Okay, so agriculture or other industries can reuse this wastewater by reducing it. Toxic content. So we should do the treatment of sewage, and what we can do is we can just treat the waste products before disposing it in the water bodies, which helps in the water pollution on a larger scale, and it helps to reduce its toxic contents. Okay. So now use of environment friendly products. Okay. So by using soluble products that do not go to become pollutants, we can reduce the amount of water pollution caused by an household. So household water pollution is there because we are releasing a lot of toxic chemicals from a house. So in that way, we can also prevent it by doing not to go to on the become pollutants, and we can not use the pollutants, products that are producing these kind of pollution, and we should use environmental friendly products. So you can also see in the pictures I have mentioned here, you can also stop ocean plastic pollution, as ocean is also a source of a water pollution, so that we can also prevent. Okay, so now let's read the conclusion, as it is the last of this. So life is ultimately about choices, and so is water pollution. So we cannot live with sewage, storm, beaches, contaminated rivers, and fish that are poisonous to drink or eat. To avoid these scenarios, we can work together to keep the environment clean so the water bodies, plants, animals, and people who depend on it remain healthy. So we can take individual or teamed action to help reduce water pollution. As an example, by using environmentally friendly detergents, not pouring oil down the drains, reducing the uses of pesticides, and so on. So we can take the community action to keep our rivers and seas cleaners. And we can take action as countries and continents to pass laws against water pollution. Also, working together, we can make water pollution less of a problem and a world a better place. Okay, so it's not about the choices. We can reduce the use of contaminated products. We can use the use of the fishes that are poisonous to drink or eat. So to avoid these scenarios, we can work together, because we have to contribute together, because the one person cannot manage all these things. So we need a contribution of peoples, so they can help us in these kinds of problems and protect our mother earth. Okay, so now water is our life. So without fresh water, how we will survive? So it's a true point that water is our life. We cannot live without water. And if the water will not be remain fresh, how will we survive? Only 1% of the water is fresh in the world. And if it will also not be remain fresh, then how we are going to survive? We all will be going to die and come up with it. So we should protect our environment, we should protect our water, we should not pollute our water, and save our mother earth as well, and save the living organisms on earth. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this wonderful session. I will be there to meet you soon in the next session. Okay, till then, bye bye, see you.